What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Rip City Retro. I am coming to you live from Mexico on a little vacation right now. Hope everyone is doing well. Good to see you all in chat. Got some big Blazer news today. Also, coaching search is ramping up, and wanted to talk about those things with you guys. Wife and I went on an excursion early this morning, an all-day excursion. She wasn't feeling great coming home, so got back to the room. She wanted to crash. I was like, you know what? I want to stream then. I got nothing else to do, right? So thought I'd hop on here and talk to you guys for a little bit. Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to Rip City Retro. How is everyone? That game tonight? Yeah, I waited to go in, and sorry about the lighting. I tried to get the lighting better, but I don't have my normal lights or anything, so it's a little fuzzy. But yeah. Anyways, that game we just witnessed was bananas. If you watched it, freaking Cavaliers. So sorry to Alex Wolf if he's watching, but they blew they were up 20 in the fourth quarter and couldn't get it done. Just not a good final quarter for the Cavs after it looked like they were going to steal game one. Epic collapse and just disgusting. Yeah. But yeah, that game last night, man, Spurs Thunder was also epic. Just two heavyweights. And let me know in chat, are you guys, after watching that game last night, are you a little down on Portland's chances of competing anytime soon in the West? Definitely felt like, what was that, 2016, 2017 when Durant joined the Warriors after they lost in the finals to the Cavs and had won 73 games. Felt like the NBA was kind of written in stone those next few years. Now, they win 2 titles in a row, and then the injuries mounted with Durant and Klay Thompson both getting hurt in the playoffs that year, and they lose to Toronto, so they didn't win 3 straight, but they did win 2, and everyone knows that. That team was going to win at least one, if not multiple ones. So it kind of feels like that, where no matter what Portland does, it's going to be tough to be better than either of those two teams moving forward. And they're both young rosters. They both have a lot of assets. So the problem is neither team is really going to be in a position where they can't continue to get better. It's just unfortunate to once again run into that with a lot of luck with the Spurs. Obviously, 3 straight years, including the number 1 pick with Wemby, and then getting Castle that next draft, and then Harper the draft after that. And Harper, he had not the greatest rookie year. He was pretty good, but man, just getting him and the way he's played in his playoffs, that game 1 performance was just insane. And then Wemby's just on another level. So, man, if you're a Blazer fan or any other fan in the West, it's tough. Maybe we could get someone like Giannis that can somewhat neutralize Wemby, but even then, it's going to be tough to outdo either of these two teams, and they're built kind of differently. So you're going to need to have players that can stop both teams. So obviously the Spurs are built pretty well to match up against OKC, but you'd still have to get by OKC, even if you manage to somehow get by the Spurs. So, man, it's tough. Fan Palm says Harper is better than Sharp. Okay. I mean, Harper was the number 2 pick, and a lot of people think if he was in this draft, he might go number 1. A lot of people would take him over what's a really good top-heavy draft right now in 2026. So I don't think that's saying much. Harper, I mean, every single person would take Harper over Sharp right now. That's just a given. So yeah, once again, I'm in Mexico right now, about halfway through my vacation down here. Been having a great week. I hope all of you have as well. But yeah, this was brutal loss. I feel so bad for Cavs fans, man. Yeah. No golf. It's kind of, so the resort we're staying at has some restaurants that require like a collared shirt or a button-up shirt. So got to kind of change out of the day wear into evening wear when we go out. And then we went to dinner, and like I said, my wife wasn't feeling too good, so she's like, I'm gonna go lay down, and I was like, I'm gonna stream, and she's like, cool. So yeah, pretty fun. Yeah, got our fridge here is stocked with beer, so I'm gonna have some drinks here and some cervezas, and yeah, there's also some liquor. I don't know. Oh, we're at like an all-inclusive resort. It's the first time I've ever been to one of those. It's been so much fun, and yeah, it's just getting all the drinks you want. It's pretty fun. So yeah, wish I could like take you guys mobile with me. That'd be fun. Go sit at the bar or whatever. I did get a little burnt today out on we went on like a catamaran sailboat thing out to an island, and went snorkeling and all that stuff. So got a little burnt today, but yeah. But yeah, let's talk about this Tom Dundon thing. So I'm on the island, got kind of spotty service, and checked my phone, and I saw a bunch of people message me on Twitter, and it was all like tweets that wouldn't load. And so I knew something had happened, and so I eventually was able to figure out what those were, and it was mostly people sending me the Sean Highkin tweet. Let me bring that up and just read it for you guys. Hopefully my computer will let me do that. So yeah, this is kind of weird timing, because we haven't been able to talk about this on this show yet, but Dundon went on the podcast with Rich Paul. I forget what it's called, Rich Paul and Max Kellerman, and kind of explained his cheapness. He contradicted Cronin a little bit. Obviously, Cronin tried to take one for the team there at the exit interviews. So it was a situation where I thought it was cool of him to go on a show like that, I thought, and to kind of explain what he was doing. So I thought maybe, that kind of calmed things down for him. It did seem like he got to a position where it was like, okay, the checking out of the hotel thing made sense the way he explained it. Is it kind of cheap? Yeah, maybe. But, he said they had the ballroom or whatever checked out or paid for, and that they all could set up shop there or whatever. And so, like, you got it. He said the two-way thing. I mean, there's no two ways in NHL, so he didn't know about that, and that was on him. Kind of just explained all these things away. So, to me, it was kind of weird timing that today, after kind of, I don't know if he got fans back necessarily, but he did have it to where he had people. I saw a lot of people online basically saying, "Dude, let's give this guy a chance. Like, it's not necessarily cheap. He's just trying to cut costs and streamline things and be more efficient and stuff like that." So he got a lot of goodwill, I think, built back up, and then people, I think, were kind of leaning into that. Oh yeah, let's give him a chance to see what he does. And then he lays off a bunch of employees today. And according to Sean Hyken, he was told around 70 people were let go today in the Blazers layoffs. On the business side, he said he did know some of the names, but out of respect, he'll let them announce it. Unfortunately, Casey Holdall, he's been, I want to say it was 18 years he's been the Blazers beat reporter for the team. So he's one of those guys who's been around the organization for a long time. And yeah, it so yeah, it was also, I forgot who said this, if it was Sean or someone else, but someone said it was a lot of long time employees that got let go. Sean also went on to say his biggest criticism of Dundon from the beginning, which he admitted to on the podcast the other day, is that he does not get the ways in which the NBA doesn't work like the NHL and things you have to pay for there. Today is certainly an example of that. He said he talked to one person who survived the cuts today, who said it felt like they just looked at a spreadsheet of salaries and cut the highest ones without any regard for what anyone does and how important they are. Names will get out when they get out, but I don't think people are prepared for how short-sighted some of these specific cuts are. I mean, obviously that's... With how he's been talked about in the media, that's pretty... It's weird going from... like all these reporters, like for the longest time would never tweet something like this, right? They would never come out and say like, oh, I have this issue with the owner and this is not good that the owner did this or whatever, right? It's been mostly kissing up or defending ownership and all that. So to see all these takes from these media guys, basically being critical of Dundon, I'm actually kind of surprised at some people. Now I hope it doesn't come to people getting their credentials pulled or whatever, because that's when it starts to be like a dictatorship or something. And so I don't agree with that, like just getting rid of media for being critical or whatever. For those that have watched like Blazers Uprise and stuff for a while, you know that Tori and I would have loved to get media credentials, still would. Hope that someday this channel, or if I do something else, can possibly get to that point. But yeah, it's just, I do think that you should have people who can get who can be critical, and that doesn't mean you have to take away their right to report or any of that. So Hopefully that's not the case with the rest of the media. But most of the other media guys aren't. Casey was actually employed by the Blazers as their actual reporters, so he was let go and announced that on Twitter himself. A lot of people are really upset about that. Him and Brooke actually had he does that podcast, or they do that podcast together. They were doing like a meet and greet / live podcast at, I think it was Spirit Mountain, on Friday. And Casey tweeted out that, yeah, that's canceled or whatever. So yeah, it's wow. There's several angles you can come at this from. The first is that I see a lot of people saying, oh, Minnesota, when their new ownership took over, they laid off a bunch of people, and then giving other examples of ownerships that did layoffs when they first came over. And then we also hear that the Blazers actually had a pretty big staff, actually really large compared to a lot of other organizations. So the minute you hear that and get to learn about Tom a little bit, it was pretty obvious he was going to cut that down and kind of streamline that a little bit. So hopefully there's I don't know, a little bit of nuance to it. And so what I'll say about Casey Holdahl is, I mean, I didn't always see eye to eye with him. We got in a little bit of an argument. One of my first times talking to him on Twitter or whatever. It doesn't matter, but yeah, I mean, whatever you think of him, it's tough when someone like that is interwoven into the fabric of the organization and stuff. And it's the same kind of thing with when they let Mike and Mike go. Now, this wasn't Dundon, obviously. This was Paul Allen. But it's just those guys are part of the experience of being a Blazer fan. And, a beat reporter isn't necessarily the biggest part of it. But the guy had been part of the organization and a staple in the Portland community for a long time. He always tweets about, I think he lives near St. John's or something. So he always tweets about Portland stuff and all that kind of stuff. Wheels as well, as Alex Wolf mentioned, the way they treated him at the end. And once again, those things aren't Dundon's fault, but to Sean Hyken's point, a lot of these people are ingrained in the community and do stuff as Blazer representatives that are good for the team around Portland. And so just come in and fire people just because you need to. It's just, you got to be a little careful. And it's just... It's such a weird situation. I cannot remember. Obviously, there's been owners that have traded a star player or whatever. Dallas a couple years ago when they traded Luka after Cuban sold his majority share of the team. But just without even having an off season to ramp up or see what's going to happen. To have it just be all based on these other things that aren't even on the court things, and to have so many people turn on him and stuff like that, it's crazy to watch. And I don't know how this is all going to play out. If you listen to people like Bill Oram, who's an Oregonian columnist, you and other people have said this as well, but I if you listen to those people, he's just trying to piss everyone off on purpose so he can maybe move the team out of Portland and be like, well, see, I bought the team. I tried there. I tried to get funding or whatever, and yeah, this town didn't embrace me, and I have to move. So, um, as Alex Wolf puts, he gives him bad vibes. Um, like he's the evil villain CEO in a spy movie. It also seems like he doesn't care if he gets that label either. Um, it's it's so weird. I was born in the Portland area, lived there pretty much my whole life. I've lived in Oregon my whole life. It's just it's different, man. It's a different city. Uh, you can't do the same things you do in every other city. Like you have to be a little careful about stuff like this. So I don't think it's like the end of the world that you have a way of doing things. You want to lay some people off. I mean, it happens with any job or whatever. It's just if it went down kind of the way Hyken mentioned, that it was just, oh, we're just going to cut these people because they make money instead of figuring out what they do. Now, should they have like an Office Space type moment where it's like, what would you say you do here? I don't know if it necessarily should go that extreme either. But so yeah, it's tough because all this won't matter if he puts a winning product on the floor, right? Uh, it will not matter. So if he makes the on the court product better, the Blazers improve. Like Lazy Panda says, if the Blazers win 50 to 55 games next year, not a lot of people will care about it, right? And it's just, I don't know. I mean, stuff like this though, like Casey is a popular guy. Like he's well respected and well known around the league. Um, I'm sure he'll be fine in terms of getting another job, but regardless of what you think of the job he does or how important that is or whatever, it is, I don't know, it's kind of grating to a lot of people when you just can someone like that who I mean, like you always see Casey around the team and stuff like that. So and you had a lot of ex players and stuff mention him today. So yeah, it's just tough. But as Kirk points out in chat, Tom bought the team. He gets to make the decisions. So we'll see what he does there. If rumor is he wanted to bring in one of his own people to be the beat reporter or whatever, which is his right to do. I mean, you own the team, you can do whatever you want. So we'll see if this starts to cost him fans or whatever, and then we'll see if that's ultimately his end goal. If he wants them to be. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you listen to certain people, it does seem like he is purposely trying to make people mad. So, MGJJ in chat says, have to give him the benefit of the doubt. If he does right by the players and build a winning team, it's tough when people get fired. Yeah. And this, like I said, it's not uncommon that this kind of stuff happens. I'm really interested to see, because we heard all those rumors about the coaching search, which I do want to get into later. I do have, it's not really a Brandt bomb, but for those that know me, I do want to tell you about something. But we'll talk about that later. Anyways, it's I don't even know how to put it, right? Like it's just like we hear all these rumors about the coaching search and him trying to find a cheap option or whatever, and then but then you hear people say, "Oh no, he'll pay if he finds the right person." He's just looking at certain people that wouldn't cost a lot of money, and so um, yeah, I don't know. I do have to give Dundon credit for like going on that show. Makes me wonder if he would ever come on a show like this. Like uh, maybe he'll be that type of owner where he just gets out there and does stuff. And it's so weird. It's such a contrast between him and Jody, because Jody didn't talk to anyone once. You know what I mean? Like there occasionally you'd get a statement like, "Oh, the Blazers are for sale," and then you'd hear a statement, "The Blazers are not for sale. Jody is not selling the team yet." And it's like, oh, bullcrap. So we, I don't know, man. It's just then there's another dynamic that I haven't gotten into yet, but I don't know if you guys are paying attention to the Portland Fire. Those games have been crazy bananas with the fans and stuff, the attendance, the reactions to plays happening, and you contrast that with what's happening with the Blazers right now, which should be a ton of positive momentum coming off of winning that playing game, winning a game against the Spurs. If they ultimately win the championship, we we could say we were winning, second half, the last three games, or not game 5, obviously, but we had games 3 and 4, big leads in the second half against the championship team, right? And so it's just, I think that's going to be another whole dynamic, because the Portland Fire are showing what a franchise could be, and obviously the Blazers have been that in the past. It's a little different now. Just the last 3 years have been weird with the rebuild and trading Dame and all that kind of stuff, but just the difference between those two franchises right now. And then at the core of that is the ownership of the Fire are the people who were closest in winning potentially the bid with against Tom Dundon. So that ownership failed to outbid Tom, and there was some stuff with the Panda Express guy maybe jumping ship from one side to the other, which got settled. But yeah, it's a situation where it seems like that ownership group would have been a lot more firmly in the do anything possible to keep it in Portland and to keep people happy. So it's, man. So yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you in the camp? Basically, I think you can be in the, I'm going to give Tom a wait and see approach. It's his team. He can make these changes. It doesn't necessarily mean the product's going to suffer or the team's going to suffer. In fact, it might be the opposite, where he does all this, and then somehow, uses this cheapness to put all the money towards the team and making that good. And then, yeah, like Tom mentioned, like, do you give him a chance to learn how he's going to make mistakes thinking the NHL way will work? Because, I mean, his team in the NHL, the Carolina Hurricanes, are rolling right now. So, um, I mean, they might win a championship this year, right? So, um, it, certainly understandable to be a wait and see. Um, and people are mentioning the Bethals who own the Fire did have um, a rough couple years with the Thorns. I I know like my family's gone to a few Thorns games recently. I've never been to a Thorns game though. Like, is it back on track now? Is everyone back loving the Thorns again, or is that still contentious a little bit? I know they had some organizational issues for a while, some not good stuff, but and then uh, Mustaf mentions that the Bethals also are part ownerships of the Sacramento Kings, which is not a good resume builder either. Blaze the Nugs. Well, the problem with the other journalists is they're not owned by the, or they're not owned is the wrong word. They're not employed by the team. Casey was the only one of them that was employed by the team. So you can't fire Danny Meringue or Sean Hyken or any of those guys. Like, those guys, well, Sean does his own content. Danny works for 1080 or 105.1 The Fan here in town. But yeah, you can't just let those guys go. I guess I don't know how the post game show works, um, but no. I mean, I talked about this earlier. I don't think I don't think you want to be a person who. It's one thing to fire someone you employ, but if you start messing with people who, just because you don't like what they say, if you start messing with their access or trying to get them fired from their job just because they were critical of you, I think that is going to absolutely crush him. And I know you're fine messing with someone like that, but come on, man, you're being ridiculous. Like, you can't let, if you don't like Danny Meringue, you can't just be like, oh, I hope Tom Dundon goes and gets him fired from 1080 or whatever. Like, that's not how it works. And Dundon doesn't seem like he's going to overstep his boundaries here and do something like that. So I don't know why he would even care about that. Like, he seems like he does not care at all. But yeah, I mean, you can hope someone gets fired, but I don't see why you think it would be anyone from the Blazers organization going out of their way to get someone that doesn't even work for the team. I mean, Tom's just worrying about his own organization right now. So I don't agree with that. Even if I don't like a lot of the Blazer media, I don't think that Tom should be able to go. I think that's messing with a lot of rights that people have, free speech, freedom of the press, all that kind of stuff. And that's a very, very slippery slope and tricky window to cross into. So if they start doing that, that's, especially in a town like Portland, that's not going to fly. So, yeah. Yo. Oh yeah, hi mom. She called her Blazer rep, and thankfully she was still employed, so that's good. Um, but yeah, so I mean, I don't know. Like Bill Oram is it's crazy some of his tweets. Today he tweeted out. Ever since the ownership transition, there has been significant scrutiny on the size of the Blazers staff relative to other NBA organizations. Dundon perceived organizational bloat. Fine. Even with that, the 70 that is floating around, first reported by Hyken, is a damn big number. And he keeps. Yeah, I didn't see this, but Dwayne Hankins had a statement that said, today, as part of our plans to position the organization for the future, we made the difficult decision to restructure several areas of the business. These changes impacted talented people who have helped shape the Trailblazers, blah, blah, blah. Man. Yeah. But man, he is really fear mongering the Blazers are going to move discussion. And yeah. As of right now, we have not heard anything about. I've heard anything about Brooke. I don't think they can. They cannot let Brooke go. I mean, they could, but that would be one of the most brain dead decisions that ever happened. I mean, Brooke is one of the most likable, down to earth, I don't know how to explain it, but I mean, she's, I don't know, it would just be freaking stupid. Like, to me, it would be more worrisome that this organization just has no clue what the F they're doing if they did something like that. Because, yeah. You could probably find a better host, yes, Blaze the Nugs, but at the same time, it's just Brooke has been a part of a lot of people's enjoyment of the Blazers and stuff, and so to get rid of her for really no reason is just crazy. I don't know. I mean, I know it happens, and it might happen someday, but I just then you're getting into just firing people just to fire them. I don't agree with that, man. As of right now, I don't think anything's happened to Calabro or Hurd or Travis Demers, but I might have missed something about any of them, but did not see any of them lose their job potentially. We do know that the Hurricanes they cut their radio broadcast team and just went to the TV broadcast doing both. Yeah. Douglas Fur, yeah, I did hear something that he was looking or asking why they have two mascots, which is stupid, but yeah, never been a fan of Doug Fur. Yeah. Um, let's unless anyone else, I'll leave it open for a second if anyone has any more questions about the Tom Dundon thing, because I do want to pivot real quick to coaching, the coaching search. Yeah. So, but I'll wrap it up here. Let me take a drink. Cheers, everyone. All right. So, uh, what's up, Taylor? News today on the coaching search. Jason Kidd gets fired in Dallas. Masai Ujiri obviously wanted to bring in his new guy, or bring in a new guy. That was kind of surprising today, out of left field a little bit. Um, and now, of course, anytime someone new is available, everyone's got to bring him up. We do know that it was widely reported. I believe it was Chris Haynes that reported this first back in 2021 with the Blazers coaching search, that Dame really wanted either Jason Kidd or Chauncey Billups. Obviously, former point guards with a lot of experience, championship experience, all that kind of stuff. So, I think because Kidd had been a head coach before and kind of flamed out, I think a lot of people were happy that the Blazers didn't go that direction, or that he withdrew his name from the process pretty early in that. But he did a pretty good job in Dallas. So could he be a candidate again? I still find it hard to believe Tom would pay someone like that versus just hiring an assistant coach or Tiago. So I don't know, but the other, Kurt brings up a good point. He'll still be getting paid from Dallas. It does depend on his like the wording of the contract. There are some cases where it's guaranteed money unless you sign a deal with another team or whatever. That's why a lot of coaches sit out a year, or possibly take less money or something, so it doesn't violate that. So maybe that would be the only way you could get away with that, is if you didn't care about money. But I don't know. I still think he would command or ask for a decent amount. And if he was like an elite coach that was just became available, then maybe you pay the freight for that. But I don't think anyone can say like, oh yeah, he would definitely elevate this roster or anything like that. So yeah, I don't know. Then that brings us to Terry Stotts, who it was reported him and Jerry Stackhouse would not be back as assistant coaches under Steve Kerr. Kind of funny, Steve Kerr also said the other day that sometimes coaches have bad years too, and he had a bad season this year. So I don't know how a lot of you feel about Stotts coming back. I do find it hilarious that I see a lot of people who say or said a few weeks ago, what was Tiago supposed to do with this roster? What could he have done to change what happened? They were going to lose to the Spurs, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Also now say, imagine what Terry could do with this roster. I just find that a little funny that that's the goalposts have been switched already. So it's like Terry could change this roster and it would be the best roster he had, but there was nothing Tiago could do because the roster wasn't good. So yeah. Um, and once again, if you guys have followed me for a while, listened to me be on these shows for a while, you know that I don't think Terry was the reason the Blazers overachieved with those rosters. I do believe Dame was more the cause than Terry. And in fact, the last few years, I think Terry did a really good job his first couple of years, and obviously his third year here with West going down and Olshey not giving him much of a bench that year until they traded for a Flalo, but that's still only one decent option off the bench. Um, I do think he did a good job his first few years here. And I think he did a pretty good job the first year post Aldridge and all those guys leaving. But from there, including the Western Conference Finals run, I feel like he got really stubborn in his ways. I feel like he wasn't at some point he wasn't the reason the team was winning or losing. It was there were winning or losing because of some of the players on the team. So once again, if you feel differently, that's fine. I don't like how dependent and predictable he got on certain schemes on both ends. I said the same thing about Billups and now Tiago this year with the drop scheme or whatever, or the lack of movement on offense, all that kind of stuff. The Blazers just became like an only pick and roll team, and they could do nothing other than pick and roll if that was not working, or if Dame and CJ could not just make a basket out of nowhere. And I don't know. I think you have to be more creative. I do not think Stotts made any real good adjustments at all in the playoffs. In fact, I think his game plan against the Warriors in that 2019 Western Conference Finals was one of the worst game plans I've ever seen against a team that thrives off of playing that coverage, but the Blazers hadn't played any coverage and all that. So I Dave plays with a $2 donation. Thank you so much. How mad are you gonna be if Stotts is back 1-10? It'll be like an 8 or 9 for me if he's back on the mad scale, and that's because I don't want to. It was a horrible time, not only for what I like to break down games and stuff, but then to the non-stop arguments with people who just. The same thing happened with Tiago, right? It just. I personally cannot handle he won this many games. He beat the Suns in the play-in. He won a game against the Spurs. Like, what coach is doing better than that? Stotts got to the playoffs 8 straight years. I also think that roster was a little better than people give credit for, just like I thought this year. People thought that too. But to me, it was always like, well, Stotts won with Aminu and Harkless. And I was like, well, okay, what did he do with those guys to win specifically? Like, what did he run that elevated those players? Or like, what adjustment did he make in this series or whatever? And same Same thing with Thiago this year. I I try not to get in a lot of Twitter arguments anymore. I've done that for like a handful of years. It's stupid, and there's really no point. But it's like I saw these people responding to stuff like, "Oh, Thiago is great. They made the playoffs for the first time in 5 years and won 42 games, which is a 6-win improvement over last year." It's like, well, I disagree, blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's stupid. Like, you give him a chance, you got to bring him back, blah, blah, blah. Like, look at Mark Diagnolt and all these coaches that did bad in their first year, and then if they would have let go, you wouldn't have had them here right now. Mitch Johnson, all this stuff. And so I was like, okay. And it's just like constant argument back and forth, right? And then I'll bring up, can you please let me know like one X's and O's thing, or one scheme, or one game plan in a certain game he had, one adjustment he made in a game that you particularly liked and that led you to think, oh, this guy could be a good coach. And then it's like no response after responding like every minute, like within a minute, every post I make. And then I ask that and like get no response to it, right? So it's the same thing that happened with Stotts, and it was for years with Tori and I both facing that, because we were ready for the Blazers to try something different back then. And maybe Terry's learned from that, but for me personally, I would have a tough time just going back into that. Well, here's Terry, he's going to elevate the roster without any sort of nuance to that, or any sort of like people being able to break down why that is, or why you can just blanketly say that that's going to happen. But yeah, I don't even know. I mean, the rumor is he would like to come back as head coach. I don't know how the organization or Tom Dundon feels about him. Joe Cronin, I don't know how any of them feel about it. So we'll see on that front. The Blazers did add, or it was reported that Micah Nori was added to someone they've been in contact with or interested in. He's been a well-respected assistant coach with the Minnesota Timberwolves. So we'll see if that will lead to anything as well. I had a video about this, it was like a little over a week ago, talking about how the coaching search and how a lot of these young assistant names are being brought up, or respected assistant coaches around the league. And that leads me to what I wanted to talk to you guys about. And that was, Alex Wolf says Willie Green. No, Willie Green had a shot. He was terrible in New Orleans. Why would we give him a shot? Come on. I'd much rather go with a coach that hasn't had a shot yet. And this is what I want. I want an energetic coach who is going to basically put his all into coaching and try to come up with a bunch of new creative stuff. And, if that doesn't work, come up with some other different things, or come up with multiple things. And to me, that's why I don't like the guys like Terry Stotts is, I mean, you're going to go back to like the same like boring stuff again. And I don't know if at this point of his career he's even willing to change. That's another reason why he hasn't been a head coach was let go by the Blazers and hasn't gotten a head coaching job. So I just I want someone who's going to come in with some fresh ideas and work tirelessly to try and implement them. And if they don't work, try something else and have multiple gears that we can do. And so let me. Oh man, did I just mess that up? Hopefully, I'm still live. I don't know if I just messed something up. Sorry if I did. Yeah. Clicked on the wrong button there. Anyways. Before I say this, let me just say I am not going to say this out loud, say the name out loud, and I would appreciate it if it's not mentioned in chat either. I really respect this source, and I don't give an F if you don't believe me. Like, don't. I don't care. Like, whatever. If you don't believe me, I'm not trying to convince anyone. But those who know me, if you think about it, I know someone who is directly involved with the San Antonio Spurs. And someone that is very important on the Spurs. And please don't say it in chat. Once again, please don't say it. We'll just you either know or you don't, and so those of you who know, anyways. So I wanted to know about Sean Sweeney, who is a potential head coaching candidate. Now, according to Jake Fisher today, he is not a potential candidate for the Portland Trail Blazers. But after hearing this, I want this guy, Sean Sweeney. And this is why. Okay, so a certain player on the Spurs said that he is very high on Sean Sweeney. He said internally he is the one who gets the credit for the success of the team this season. This is someone on the team saying this, okay? And which is crazy. That the people on the team give more credit to Sean Sweeney for their success than Mitch Johnson himself. All right, so that right there tells me a lot about this guy, right? And also, they are obviously they're in the midst. They might win a championship, so they're not super worried about this currently. But this was before they won game one. Anyways, they're super worried about how they're going to replace him on the staff and how losing him could affect their team moving forward. So, what's up, Airmancer? So, to me, they're in the middle of a playoff run, potentially winning a championship, and there's a player on the team saying that this guy is the reason behind their success this season, obviously, coaching-wise, not player-wise, because that's obviously Wemby and Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle and etc. But, so this guy's saying that he's the reason for their success coaching-wise and scheme-wise and all that kind of stuff. And then on top of that, they're still in the playoffs and they're worried about this guy, how they're going to replace him when he takes a coaching job this offseason. So when I heard that, it just, I want that guy. I want that type of guy who the players obviously know that he's a good coach. And then from there, I don't know if, I mean, I'm assuming you guys all watch this, but I don't know how close you pay attention. But every single timeout, every single time Wemby was coming from the bench, there was Sean Sweeney in his ear talking to him, right? And it wasn't Mitch Johnson, it was Sean Sweeney up there, like in his ear and talking to him and stuff like that. So, if we could poach them, like potentially knock the Spurs down a little bit, I don't like. I mean, obviously, losing an assistant coach shouldn't change their trajectory at all. So I'm kind of joking there, but someone who he's going to come in and do everything he can to then stop the guy who he's been coaching up for these last couple of years. So I just really want someone like that, and that hearing that from someone on the team was crazy. Now I was told that he obviously has a lot of options. Now those options are kind of closing. There's only a couple teams that know. Yeah. That's my guy. But yeah, and this player also said that he'd be a home run hire for whoever hired him. So, Dallas just opened. That would be a potential landing spot. And if you're Sean Sweeney, you're probably looking at a team like Dallas that has Cooper Flag for the next decade. It's So who knows? And like I mentioned, the Blazers haven't even really been linked to him, other than just, he's expected to get a head coach and an interview. I think there is a reason why, the Blazers and the Bulls and what other team? Did the Magic hire someone? I think there's one other team, other than Mavericks today, but there was the Bulls, and then there was one other team. I don't remember if it was the Magic or if they hired someone, but Magic, I remember, for Billy Donovan. So that would be good. The Bulls are actually linked to Thiago Splitter, but it also was reported that we're not going to let Thiago Splitter. We have to approve him to interview elsewhere. So that's kind of a D move to not allow him to interview, but also if he doesn't get the head coaching job. So I guess technically he's still under contract as an assistant coach, but I did not like the Jamal Mosley hire for the Pelicans. Mosley has had some decent, I thought, moments in Orlando, but when a tenure ends with kind of, I wouldn't say a revolt, but it came out, even before their season was over, that there was a lot of friction there between him and a lot of the players. I don't know how you touch that guy without giving it a year or two to Trevor Williams, who are you talking about? Said Blazers Edge had an article stating he was getting an interview, but the article is now gone. It was up an hour to 90 minutes ago. I wonder if they jumped the gun and someone told them to take it down. Oh, Sweeney. I think the problem is it's not necessarily jumping the gun. It's just I don't think he's. I don't know how it works in the NBA with assistant coaches. I know that sometimes they do interview while they're still going, but it's pretty common for organizations to wait for someone to be done with the playoffs or done with their season before like distracting them or doing anything. And if you're Sweeney, you could definitely wait and just tell teams, I'm not listening to offers or anything before the season's over. But the problem comes back to what Taylor Packer just said. If the Sweeney guy has multiple options, we can probably cross him off because he'll get more money elsewhere, and that is the issue. This is where is Tom Dundon cheap, or if he recognizes this guy as the guy, if he kills it in an interview, is Tom willing to pay what it takes to get that guy? Or is he just like, oh, you know what? He won't accept this cheap ass offer. Let's just give him another. Let's just give a cheaper offer to someone else and look elsewhere. I don't know what's going to happen, and that seems to me. I think it's either one or two things happening. One is they aren't going to pay him enough to come here, or they're waiting until his season's over and maybe that's their guy and all this other stuff is just rumors until that happens. So I mean, that would be awesome, but I don't know, it's kind of leaning right now towards, it seems like the Blazers aren't looking in his direction as much as they should be. So hopefully, if that is the move, Tom will pay like MGJJ says. And he also had a donation, $10 donation. Thank you so much. His donation says, I hope you get your wish on Coach because I think you really know basketball and the NBA. I've also heard Sweeney. He would be a great hire. Well, thank you so much for the donation and the kind words. Appreciate it. Yeah. Trevin says, this does seem like a unique situation where you can hire an assistant to be a first-time head coach and you actually know he should be good. Would suck to waste that opportunity. Yeah, it's like everyone else, you don't know. It's a crapshoot. And even with Sweeney, it's a crapshoot. But, I mean, pretty much everyone respects this guy. He's won or helped teams win in multiple locations. I believe he was on the Bucks team with Giannis when they won. He was an assistant on the Mavericks when they went to the finals. So pretty awesome resume now, especially if the Spurs win a championship this year. So I would love that guy, but yeah, I don't know. When will Rip City Retro get a Discord? I don't know, man. Eventually, hopefully someday. Yeah. In Sweeney I trust, says Brendan Smith. Yeah. I mean, it's not to say that these other coaching candidates, I think you can find a good coach too, whether that's Mike Nori or someone else that they've been looking into. I did see some Laker fans when they saw that we were interviewing St. Jean, that they were like, please take it. It's kind of funny, but yeah, I'd much rather have a coach that the team that's losing him has no idea how they're going to replace the value he provides versus a team where people are praying he actually gets signed by someone else so they don't have to do it. I've been doing tequila shots this week. I've had a lot of shots, yeah. I don't know. It's, yeah. Some tequila. There's some incredible drinks here, so yeah. Kirk says the roster is more important than the coaching. Yeah, absolutely. The roster needs some work too. It might not matter if that we have no chance of being better than either the Spurs or the Thunder, but yeah, I mean, obviously the roster is important as well, and Sean Sweeney looks a lot better with coaching up Wembanyama than he would if the Spurs were like the Brooklyn Nets and fell in the draft instead of move up into the top 5 all 3 years, and they had a lot less talent. They're probably not even a playoff team, so it's obviously the roster needs to be better, and the Blazers don't have a single draft pick. They do have a bunch of future picks, so maybe something happens there, but yeah. Trevin really wants Steve Hetzel because he had this funny bit a few years ago where he thought Steve Hetzel was the reason why the Blazers were doing well, and then Steve Hetzel got let go, and then so he wants him back so he can point to all his old funny tweets about Steve Hetzel like they were actual serious ones. So yeah. And I don't know. I told Trevin this earlier today, but Steve Hetzel, he could make a fine head coach. I don't know, but I kind of want someone who has not had any ties or time with anything to do with the Blazers recently. So I want someone from like outside the organization. I know Chauncey was, and a lot of his staff was, and Hetzel was at the time when he came over a few years ago. But I just really want I don't know, I kind of want someone who's going to come in and just bring his own culture and not have any sort of preconceived notions on what the organization is like or whatever. I want someone to come in and be like, no, this is the way I'm running things, not like, oh, okay, I got Dame back or whatever. So Trevin points to the fact that when we had the good start a few years ago in 2022, 2023 season, that Steve Hetzel had to leave for personal reasons for a while, and then the team kind of fell off. But so yeah, like I said, he just had that funny bit back then that he was the reason, and now it could all lead to his tweets being, wow, this guy knew about Steve Hetzel several years ago. Kirk wants Kidd if we make a superstar trade. Bohm says whatever happened to David Vanderpool. He's been bouncing around as an assistant. Still pretty well respected assistant. Man, I don't know what happened. He was supposed to get that Timberwolves coaching job when they hired Chris Finch, or maybe that was someone else before Finch. Well, it might have been Finch. But anyways, someone, I don't know, Dame tweeted that was bull crap, and then a lot of people said he was like promised that job or something and then didn't get it. And then after that, you just like never heard his name again. It's kind of weird. So it happens sometimes, but yeah, unfortunately for him, he never really got a shot to prove himself. What about Rondo? I mean, Rondo's a super smart player. Famously, that 2018 series, he like knew all our plays before we ran them, and that was one of the reasons why our offense struggled so bad. Um, but but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those guys who just be I hope this guy knows what he's doing type thing. I thought the Pelicans should have hired him, but yeah, I don't know. Damon Stoudemire. I mean, he just flamed out at what Georgia Tech or whatever. Like, I don't. Why would we hire him? Maybe as an assistant. But yeah, like I said, I want someone who hasn't had a head coaching job. Well, not necessarily that, but I think the people who haven't had a head coaching job, I mean, it can go one of two ways. Oh, well, obviously there's multiple ways, but usually it's like, oh, they're in way over their head, or they come in and step up into that role, and it's really good. So, um, I I I don't know. I just would much rather have someone who's coming in as a first time head coach that hasn't had the chance before. I just feel like they in this particular situation would just be a little bit better in terms of working tirelessly and knowing putting in their all and not just relying on things that have happened in the past or whatever. But yeah, I mean, if they hired a retread, that'd be fine too. But I don't see them paying the freight for any of those guys. Tibbs would have a heart attack with this team. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what like Tibbs' mindset is after being fired with New York, especially if New York makes the finals this year, man. This is Mike Brown's first year, right? With New York, they let Tibbs go last year. Yeah, pretty sure, right? Sorry, Alex. I know I said it earlier in the show, but I feel so bad for Alex that game. I I owe Alex an apology too. I think I jinxed it because I texted him saying that the Knicks look so lethargic right now that Cavs could win the series or something like that, and yeah. Yeah, it's still pretty early on the West Coast, huh? It's only like 9:36 is usually when we would go live. It was Evan Siddery who had the most of the layups for a long time in plays. Hmm. Marv says if we can't get a serious upgrade, is a change just for the sake of change, not just the worst decision, then keeping some continuity with Tiago. Um, well, the problem is you don't know. Like you're probably going to hire a coach sometime soon, so you don't know what. Like obviously the off season hasn't happened yet, so we don't know what's lined up. It seems pretty clear to me that the Blazers are going to I wouldn't necessarily call it an all-in move, but I think they're going to. I think they're gonna try to make a big splash. So, um, I really think they're gonna try to do something, and but they're probably gonna hire a coach before that happens. I don't know if that kind of thinking necessarily matters. I do. I mean, obviously, with the exit interviews and stuff, the the team mindset outside of Shaden Sharp was pretty pro Thiago Splitter, and a lot of them seemed to indicate they wanted him back. So it's definitely a possibility that they still go there, but I don't know. It's doesn't seem like Thiago wants to accept the low ball offer, which I I personally think that is the right call. Like I would have an issue if I felt like I did a pretty good job commanding a situation where your coach got fired and you step in as assistant, and then you lead the team to the playoffs, and then they try to say like, oh, we're just gonna pay your current assistant coach salary, but we want you to be head coach. I mean, that would kind of piss me off too. So I don't blame him for that, but it is. I also at the same time, because Alex says Thiago should be mad that everyone was talking about his job security during the playoff series. But the thing about that is he's still an interim head coach. Like, he wasn't the official head coach. So everyone knew there was going to be at least an interview process or something for that job. It'd be different if he was like a head coach with multiple years, like if they had signed him right away to a multiple year deal. But that wasn't the case. So like, and then all the stuff came out about Dundon being cheap and all that as well. So I don't necessarily think he should be mad that they were conducting a coaching search or looking around for candidates or whatever. I mean, it is a little disrespectful to do that if the season was still going on. But, a lot of those coaches, like if they were seriously interested in Mike Malone, he signed with North Carolina before the season was over. So it's like, you lose out on some of those guys. All the teams that didn't make the playoffs already had like a couple week jump on you in terms of being able to start that search process. So you almost have to start it early. Even if you thought Thiago was your guy, like, you still have to do the due process. But Marv thinks if we don't keep Thiago, another team swoops him up. I agree with that. It does seem like he has got some interest around the league. Was said today that the Bulls were interested in interviewing him, but that the Blazers were not going to grant permission for any team to interview. I think that's kind of rude as well. It seems like the Blazers have it in their minds that if Thiago does not get the head coaching job, they're just going to expect him to come back as an assistant coach. And I have a strong suspicion he'd just resign and leave the team and go elsewhere if that happens. When do I suspect a hire will happen? Will it happen before the draft? I have no idea. Like I have no insight onto when they'll hire a coach. Um, Talked about this a little bit earlier, but that's my one thing I'm holding out hope for with Sean Sweeney is that if they're just waiting till after the Spurs either win the championship or are eliminated. And obviously that point is before the draft. So if they win this series and play in the finals, it would be just like right before the draft. Because now the season lines up to finish like right before the draft. And so it doesn't give the Blazers much time. Now if they lose this series to the Thunder, you'd have a few weeks to interview him and stuff, and maybe those interviews don't go well, or he doesn't want to come here, or he accepts a better offer somewhere else, and then you hire whoever else is on your list. So yeah, maybe it happens before the draft, but the Blazers also don't have a pick in this draft currently, so I don't know if they necessarily have to do it by then. But then, shortly after the draft, well, it's now almost 2 weeks after the draft, but then you got Summer League and all that stuff. So I think you pretty much have to have some sort of coach in place. I mean, you don't have to, but probably help if you had a coach by Summer League. It's usually like July 6th or 7th when that starts, if it hasn't changed. So I would expect them to have a head coach by then, but this is all new territory for us, right? Like, we don't know. We're hearing more bad stuff about Tom Dundon today. And, so we have no idea what to expect. This is, it's been since, 1988 or something that an Allen hasn't owned the team. So, despite what people thought of Jody, it was a little unclear at first, but despite what a lot of media will tell you, it became pretty clear how she was going to run things. And so I would say if this was still Jody, like, we're probably just re-signing Tiago and going from there. But yeah. Nick Thompson says Kansas City Trailblazers, yeehaw. Yay, we're moving to Kansas City. Marv asks how much better will beating the Spurs once and leading 2 games by double digits look if the Spurs end up winning it all. I don't necessarily think it looks better or anything. It's just, you can then get the people saying, oh, see, we lost those leads, but it was against the champion. So I get why you'd say that, and I guess that helps a little bit, or it takes it off a little bit. But then you could also argue Game 3, they didn't have Wemby, and we still lost that freaking big lead. So how much different is that series if we take Game 3 and then we don't have when we start losing the lead in Game 4 again, if it plays out that same way, we don't have the, oh crap, here we're choking again. We have the confidence that we pulled it out last time, even though we blew a lead. So, I don't know. And then we just came out completely flat in Game 5. So, I don't know if it necessarily makes me feel any better, because I still feel like we should have won one of those games at home and made this a much better series. But, yeah. Nick says Carolina Trailblazers has a good ring to it. Yeah, not really. The NBA is not moving a second team to that area. Like, I don't know. They're just not doing that. Lazy Panda doesn't want the Spurs to win. Can't stand Wemby's arrogance. Don't like him. I like Wemby, but yeah, I understand why people don't like him, but um, yeah, I mean, I did not agree with the NBA not penalizing him for that elbow. I think it was on purpose. You can clearly see him look and line up his elbow on Naz Reid. I felt like he should have been suspended. I got killed by Spurs fans saying I was just a poor sport Blazer fan, sour that I was still crying over the Blazers losing, which had nothing to do with it. I like I wanted to see the series, and obviously after game one, that was the reason why. It was awesome basketball, just a great game to watch, and so like I didn't want that to cost the Spurs the series, but at the same time, I don't like that he can intentionally do that and still get to play. I mean, should have thought about that before you threw the elbow and how that could potentially cost your team a series. So I thought he should have been suspended at least one more game for doing that. I don't know how a lot of you feel, but Billy Donovan is rumored to go to Orlando, so not the Blazers. Epic and historic performance from Wemby and Dylan Harper in Game One. Yeah, absolutely, man. It was crazy to see how Dylan Harper has raised his game in the playoffs. It's been really amazing to watch, and he's doing it on both ends too. It's just really impressive performances from a rookie who, like I said, didn't necessarily have a lot of these moments in the regular season. I know they're kind of loaded at guard there in San Antonio, but he didn't really light the world on fire. Like there weren't these kind of crazy talks about how there were when he got drafted. Obviously, most people thought he should have gone second in that draft, but there was points in the season where some Spurs fans and were questioning whether he should have been the second pick of the draft and all that stuff. So, yeah. But anyways, it was awesome, man, and that three Wemby hit from deep, that was crazy, and seemed like there were multiple points where the other one of the teams was going to pull it out, and then something crazy happened. So it's also kind of funny because I see a lot of Thunder fans like saying, well, like we had several players other than Caruso and J-Dub play like absolute crap and still took double overtime and, an all-time performance from Wemby and Dylan Harper to win it. And then like right below that is like a Spurs fan saying, man, we let Caruso hit 8 threes and we're playing in their place after a week off, and we still beat them. Took one of their best shots, and so yeah. Oh yeah, and then also Fox didn't play, so we'll have Fox back. So, oh man, I would start Dylan Harper again. That was the other thing they were saying. Free throw guy wants to know how we're feeling about Scoot after his last few playoff games. I think he saved himself there. I think you're meaning games 1 and 2 because or 2-3, or whatever. 2 was his real good game. But his last 2 games, 4 and 5, were not what saved him. Those were terrible. So it's tough when you have a couple of good games and a couple of bad games. I guess he was pretty good in 3 of the 5. But yeah, the last 2 games did not save him. It actually kind of erased the good. But I don't know. I'm hopeful that Scoot can be a contributor here. We'll see if the Blazers do anything with him. He is eligible for a rookie contract extension this summer. So, obviously the Blazers signed him to a deal. That's a strong indication that they still believe in him long term. But, what's a fair number there? Is there a number he'll be willing to do? Yeah, I don't know. But that could also be the reason why the Blazers end up trading him this offseason if they don't feel comfortable in how those negotiations are going, and then don't want to go into next season with him being on an expiring deal and then having to deal with restricted free agency or potentially losing him for nothing. So I don't know. There might be a case where the Blazers trade him just because of his contract situation, but I don't know. I think, obviously if you have faith in Scoot, you can point to the, especially 31-point game in game 2 or something like that, and say, look, the guy got it done in a big moment in the playoffs and showed what we've all been waiting for. And if you're still doubting Scoot, you can say, well, look how he asked the bed in games 4 and 5, and was the reason why we lost. Not the reason, but part of the reason why we lost those games. So we'll see. But I mean, I'm still hopeful that Scoot can build on some of those positive things he did this season and those big games in the playoffs. But yeah, probably get off of here. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Appreciate you all. Thanks to MGJJ and Tay Plays for the super chats. Appreciate that, guys. Hope you all have a good rest of your day. What's everyone up to? Yeah, quick, just randomly saying names in chat. The night's still young. Yeah, I might go back out to the bar after this. It's almost midnight here. Alex Wolf's drinking heavily. Don't blame me for that one, man. I mean, I don't know if you feel this, Alex, but all of us Blazer fans know exactly how you feel tonight with a fourth quarter collapse. Imagine that in Game 7, and not in a series like you're in where the winner has to play the Spurs or the Thunder, but it's like the opposite where the winner of that series gets to pretty much cakewalk to a championship. So, yeah. Watch out for them crocodiles in the ocean. They're out there, I know. Where are the crocodiles? I haven't seen a crocodile. I saw a turtle. Saw some fish. Went snorkeling today, but Yeah. But anyways, yeah, I want to see a manatee. That'd be cool. I've not gotten a souvenir sombrero yet. No, got a few. Uh, I'm not in Puerto Vallarta. I'm in uh, the Cancun area. Yeah. This is my first time at this in this part of Mexico. I was also it was my I've never been to the East Coast, so I've been to like Wisconsin, so I think I've seen like a Great Lake or whatever. But I was trying to think of like a huge body of water other than the Pacific Ocean. So seeing the Caribbean Sea, yeah, that was I think that was the first time I've seen like a huge body of water other than the uh, the Pacific Ocean. So, um, yes, Trevin, every single team that gets eliminated for the NBA is just chilling down here right now. It's pretty cool. I rep my Anthony Simons jersey today, so that was pretty cool. Man, Nick, come on, give it a rest, bro. Oh, um, yeah, it's kind of funny that they say. I wonder, because like obviously there are NBA players that come down here, but wonder where the area is that they usually go. I don't that I love the place we're staying, but it's not exactly the NBA player nightlife type place. So you could always go elsewhere, of course, but the food has been so good here. Except for I'm a little disappointed they don't have like just a regular Mexican restaurant. Like, come on, man, we're in Mexico. But the rest of the food has been awesome. Alex says they're sending the Cavaliers to Galveston. They're not welcome in Cancun. Um, Eric wants to talk about. No, there's like one Mexican restaurant at this resort, and it's like I don't know how to describe it, but it's like all the dishes are like fancy, like not that Mexican food can't be fancy. That's not what I'm saying, but like it's just like weird twists on Mexican dishes and stuff. It's not just like I just want some like chips and salsa and some nachos and like fajitas or quesadillas. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, those aren't really options. So, but yeah, there's that kind of stuff. At like there's buffets and stuff like that. So there are options there. I'm not complaining or whatever. Because the rest of the food's been amazing. There's a bunch of like steak places and yeah. Yep. It's been really cool. But anyways, thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all. Yeah, I'm yeah, just outside of Cancun, Marv. Yeah, my first time down here. Pretty awesome. It's my wife's first time in Mexico as well. Uh, I've been to Puerto Vallarta and I've been to Tijuana a few times. Um, Rosarito Beach, which is just like it's like a 45-minute drive past the border. Used to go on like a road trip there every spring break when I was in college. But yeah, that's my extent of Mexico experiences. But this is my first time on this part of it. Yeah. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I was actually pretty excited to talk to all of you and do a little show here. And yeah, I'll be back next week, and we'll try to have, well, at least I'll try to have regular shows at least once a week the rest of the summer. Of course, we have the draft, free agency, all that kind of stuff coming up, so we'll have shows for that stuff as well. Actually, is it? People are gonna think I'm having like a midlife crisis right now or something, but I actually just right before I came to Mexico, quit my job as well. So I'm actually going back home as a free agent, unemployed person. So we'll maybe have a little bit more time. What's up, Grace? We'll probably have a little bit more time to dedicate to doing stuff. Also, kind of a personal note, I kind of made a reference to this earlier, but it was like vague, so no one would have understood it. I have been offered a couple of very low paying writing positions, but it's something that maybe I could use due to the places that it would be for to potentially get credentials through that. So, yeah, I might do something like that, but it was something where I tried to do it like a few weeks ago, and I just had no time to write, and so maybe I'll end up doing that. But anyways, yeah, my job was just really stressing me out, and just was not good for me. And I'm the type of person who like always tries to make everyone happy and please everyone, and I don't like to I don't like to have to pick and choose like which clients or which people I help and which ones get ignored and stuff like that. I like to help everyone. So that's funny, Trevor. And so yeah, it's I I don't know. I came home a few weeks ago, and my wife was like, "What is wrong with you?" And I was so stressed out and so just like I couldn't. I don't know. It was just not healthy for me to like do that every day, and so yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. I've always wanted to. I've been doing a lot of coaching lately, but that's not really a career or something you can make money off of. So, I, but it's also at the same time, it's like really rewarding, and I love it. So, I've been wanting to do something like that where I'm like teaching or coaching, but I obviously don't have a teaching license or whatever. So I've been trying to get into schools via like special education assistant or something like that, and it's kind of hard also during the school year to find those jobs. So I'm hoping maybe over the summer, like heading into next school year, I could get a job maybe at a school, and then have that as a job, which like I said would be rewarding, and then also do it would allow me to do coaching as well, like through schools and stuff. So, maybe maybe that's my path moving forward. But between quitting my job and leaving Blazers Uprise in the last like month or so, it's like I said, if you didn't know the reasoning behind each one, it was. You could definitely probably think I'm just like losing it right now or something. Samuel says, I know a basketball team that needs a coach. Yeah. I'm not, yeah. I know people joke about it, but like, I do not feel personally like I would be capable of doing, coaching a professional team. I really enjoy teaching, like youth sports, youth basketball in particular. And luckily enough, I have a daughter who is really into basketball right now, and trying not to like push any of my kids towards that, but it's been really cool. Her wanting to give up other sports to focus on basketball, and it's been really fun. And she wants me to coach all her teams and stuff. So hopefully that can continue. But like I said, that's not necessarily a profession, so hopefully not. And thank you guys so much. Like, appreciate that. Gray, what's up? He says, "What are you doing in Mexico? Is your family there?" No, it's just my wife and I. Just we've been married 17 years. Been together since, or it's been over 22 years, and we went on like a really small, quick honeymoon when we got married 17 years ago. And we always said, oh, at our 10-year anniversary or something, we'll go on a big trip. And so like, and then 10 years passes and you're like, oh, we'll do it next year or whatever, and then we keep going on, and so yeah, it's just like, okay, we just gotta do it. And like I said, she had never been to Mexico, so just we found a resort actually that this resort we're staying at just opened in December, and so they still had some insane deals, over half off stays here, because they're just trying to get people to come out here and try out the new hotel or new resort, and so that was something that we probably wouldn't have normally been able to afford to do, but got a good deal on it, and yeah, so decided to just go for it. And it's actually been cool because normally I'd be on vacation. I own my own business for like 12 years prior to the last job that I had, and it was hard to ever go on vacation or do anything. And if I did, I was stressing out or like having to do work the whole time I was gone. And so, not that I would have had to do work on here, but I would have had to like help the person that was filling in for me a little bit. And so just cutting off completely and being able to come on this vacation without having the stress of worrying about work was also kind of a relief, and has led to me being able to enjoy my vacation a lot more. So that's been cool. And I know some of you don't like when I don't talk about Blazers and talk about personal stuff, but I like talking personal stuff with you guys. And then man, thank you so much to Gray Hughes. He donated $10 and says, how about a super chat round, everyone? Thank you so much, Gray. And then Free Throw Guy 22 also donated $10 and said, here. Once again, I appreciate it, guys. Like, don't ever feel like you need to donate or whatever. I still am one of those people who are like, oh, okay, like people are giving me their money. That's weird, but not weird, but like I feel bad kind of like when people give me money. Not that you can't do it or whatever. I'm very appreciative. Thank you so much. But yeah, I'm never going to like ask you guys for donations or anything like that. Like I appreciate it though. Thank you so much. And yeah, it's like a tip. That's one thing. it's kind of awkward. Like, I know some all. I don't know if any of you have stayed in an all inclusive resort, but this is my first time, and this is one that they do accept tips here. So it's like weird. Like, how much do you tip at an all inclusive place, or like how much money do you bring, or whatever. I know there are some all inclusives that say not to that they don't accept tips or whatever. So maybe we'll try that next time. But yeah. Um, yeah, actually had some. I had like 2 weeks of vacation saved up, so I'm still getting technically paid for vacation. So I like put in my 2 weeks, so it ended before I left on vacation. So I knew I was still, when I got back, still gonna uh, pay for the vacation, and then um, if I did the school thing, like uh, wouldn't it would be like I would have the same time off as like a elementary school kid or whatever. So my kids are off for the summer, for example, so I wouldn't be working the summer. So I'm kind of looking at it like I'm going to try my best to get a job by the end of this summer. But like normally I wouldn't be working those days anyways. But um, I mentioned earlier I owned a business for 12 years, and then there was COVID and all that stuff. So uh, my wife and I know how to like survive off of lesser income, so it's not really a huge burden. But at the same time, everything's a lot more expensive now. um, but we went through a period where we were really good with our money, sacrificed a lot of fun stuff and luxury stuff to get all our debt taken care of. And so like we try to only buy stuff we can pay for outright without incurring debt. So like when we need a new car, we just save up to buy it outright. So all our cars are paid off, and house, we're in a pretty good situation there. So yeah, it's not a situation where I'm going to be like hurting, but obviously not having a job or that income is also gonna be tough. Um, so yeah, but very very fortunate and thankful to be in a position to be able to not kill myself at a job that wasn't good for me. And yeah, so it's kind of weird having your wife telling you to quit your job or whatever instead of like, no, you have to keep it, like a lot of us probably feel like you have to do. So yeah, shout out to the people in chat who like Gray, who says he does the same thing, tries to have zero debt other than his house. Yeah. He also says school teacher is perfect for streaming and building his channel. Yeah, that's what I mean. I thought about just doing like eventually just doing like daily videos or something like that. But yeah, what was it I didn't like about the job? It just had way too many things to do and not enough time to do them the way I felt like I should do them. And yeah, so I had some days where it was just physically impossible to do the amount of work that was required of me, and then they kept dumping more on my plate because of good worker, so um, do I know what my next rich collaboration will be? No, not sure yet. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I just got to a point where I was, you know, I wasn't supposed to work weekends. They're telling me to work. They don't want me like running myself into the ground, but I had to keep up with what was required. And that was just like on normal weeks. And we had all these like special things we had to do outside of that as well. And, it was a good company that I worked for, and um, things like the pay was decent and all that. So, I mean, it wasn't like the worst job, but for me, it was just like when you're trying your best to please everyone, and no matter what you do, it's just like there's 50 holes and you're trying to cover all the holes, but you cover one and another one, the water pops out of the other one, and so yeah. So as I've gotten older, it's like obviously money is important. Don't get me wrong, but work-life balance and just being happy with life and all that kind of stuff is just way more important to me than anything else. And I want to have time to coach my daughter's basketball team. I want to, have spend time with them in general, my family, and I don't think any job is worth sacrificing that kind of stuff. So, as I've gotten older, it's just like you can get you can get with how much, especially, if you live in Oregon, minimum wage is pretty high. So you can get low, what is perceived to be a low end job and make, enough money if you're smart with it. But, just, I don't know. I just didn't want to be in a situation where that time with your family or things like that, things that I actually enjoy doing, like coaching, were starting to be affected by that. So, yeah. Yep. But anyways, that's enough of personal time with Eric, I guess. Get back to drinking here in Mexico, and yeah. Marv asked which of the big name trade options make the most sense for the Blazers' fit and price. I mean, it's still, I think, it seems weird saying Giannis, but because the Blazers have some of their picks, it does make sense. If I think Trey Murphy would be a pretty good fit with his shooting. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what other big names would fit. Mobley. I don't think the Cavs are going to trade Mobley, but obviously if the Blazers could get him, I'd go for that. Yeah. Yep. Man, that Cavs game. So sorry, Alex. Man, that sucks. Yeah, Durant's also a name. I mean, I'm not a big Kevin Durant guy, but I would understand if they made a move for him. It would make sense, I guess. But yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate you all. Give a little fist bump on the way out. And this has been Rip City Retro. And hope to talk to you guys a lot more starting next week when I'm back. And hope you all have a good rest of your week. And unless we get some crazy Blazer news, right? We might get some at some point. They're going to hire a head coach. We'll, of course, break it all down, talk about it, and then we'll go into the draft and free agency. And hopefully the Blazers can make some roster moves and improve their roster there. So I hope everyone has a good night. Thank you for tuning in, and thanks for staying with me and just letting me talk for 2+ hours. Appreciate you all. Miss talking to all of you, so hope you all have a good night, and we'll see you next time on Rip City Retro. See you later.